What if I told you there's a war happening right now? Not a war with bullets or bombs, but with digits, contracts, and interest rates. A war between those who create money out of nothing and those who must trade their time, labor, and life to earn it. Most people never realize they're on the losing side, because this war doesn't need soldiers, it only needs belief. Belief in the system. Belief that money has value. Belief that debt is normal. But what if that belief was engineered, not for your freedom, but for your control? Tonight, we uncover the invisible war between money creators and the working world. Let's go back to the birth of the modern financial world. Centuries ago, money was something you could touch: gold, silver, physical wealth. But as trade expanded and empires grew, it became too heavy, too slow, too limited. So came the invention of paper promises, banknotes backed by gold issued by early banks. A convenience at first, but then came a dangerous idea. What if we could issue more paper than the gold we actually have? That was the birth of fractional reserve banking, the moment money became a story, not a thing. Banks discovered they could lend many times more than they held in real assets. As long as people didn't all demand their gold back at once, the illusion worked. And from that illusion came power. Because whoever controls the creation of money controls the world. Fast forward to the 17th century. The Bank of England is born, the world's first central bank. Its job? To manage the nation's debt, issue currency, and stabilize the economy. Its power? Unlimited. Other nations followed: France, the US, Germany, Japan. By the 20th century, the idea of a centralized money creator became the norm. But here's the paradox. Every dollar, pound, or yen is created as debt, owed back with interest. That means for money to exist, someone must always owe. It's a system that can never be fully paid off. When you deposit $1,000 in the bank, that bank can lend out $9,000, money that didn't exist before. When governments borrow, they issue bonds, IOUs bought with freshly created digital dollars. The result? Endless growth, fueled by endless debt. The invisible war had officially begun. For a while, the illusion was anchored by gold. Every US dollar was redeemable for a fixed amount of gold, until 1971. That year, President Richard Nixon made a historic announcement. The United States would no longer exchange dollars for gold. The gold standard was dead. Overnight, the dollar became pure fiat, value backed by nothing but government decree. And what happened next was predictable and devastating. Without gold's restraint, money printing exploded. Inflation soared. Debt became the new oxygen of the global economy. And yet, wages didn't keep up. In the 1950s and 60s, one income could support a family, buy a house, pay for education. By the 2000s, two incomes barely covered the basics, while the financial sector's profits reached record highs. Coincidence? Hardly. The money creators, central banks, commercial banks, and financial elites had built a system where every crisis was an opportunity to print, lend, and profit. Every boom led to a bust. Every bust led to more intervention, and every intervention deepened the trap. Let's look at the scoreboard. In 1971, global debt was roughly $1.5 trillion. Today, it's over $315 trillion. That's more than 3 times the size of the world's economy. And here's the trick. When new money is created as debt, it doesn't go to you. It flows first to governments, corporations, and the ultra-wealthy. They use that cheap money to buy assets, stocks, real estate, entire companies, while ordinary people are left chasing rising prices with stagnant wages. This is what economists politely call the wealth gap. But in reality, it's the outcome of systemic monetary warfare. Every dollar printed steals value from the dollars already in your pocket. Every bailout rewards risk while punishing prudence. Every interest rate cut inflates bubbles that later crush the working class. The invisible war doesn't need weapons. It needs compliance. It needs you to believe the system can be fixed. But can it? Governments promise solutions, stimulus checks, welfare programs, new jobs, but these are bandages, not cures. Each solution is funded with more debt, more printed money, more control. Even quantitative easing, the elegant name for printing trillions, was sold as rescue. But in reality, it made the rich richer. Central banks bought assets, inflated markets, and created one of the biggest transfers of wealth in modern history. Then came the digital twist, CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. Presented as innovation, but hiding a darker potential: programmable money. Imagine a future where your spending can be tracked, limited, or expired, where saving becomes rebellion, where the system doesn't just control the money, it controls you. This isn't science fiction. Pilot programs are already underway in more than 130 countries. The invisible war is evolving, from financial domination to digital control. History's warning signs are flashing again. In the early 1920s, Weimar Germany printed money to pay its debts and destroyed its currency. In 2008, the world printed to save the markets and deepened inequality. In 2020, the printers roared louder than ever, and inflation returned with a vengeance. Every time we were told, this time is different. It never is, because the structure itself, a system built on debt creation instead of value creation, guarantees collapse. And yet, the illusion persists. People still believe in the numbers on their screens, unaware that every swipe, every paycheck, every loan is part of a grand design that keeps them working, while others keep creating. This isn't capitalism versus socialism. It's creators of money versus creators of real value. 1. The money system is designed for dependence. Debt isn't a flaw. It's the foundation. The system needs you to owe, just as lungs need air. 2. Crises aren't accidents. They're recalibrations. Each economic crash shifts more power upward. What looks like failure is often a reset for the few at the top. 3. Real freedom comes from understanding value. Money is a claim on human effort, not the effort itself. Once you understand that, you see through the illusion. Narrator: this invisible war won't end with protests or politics. It ends when people stop fighting for money and start building value. When education replaces obedience. When savings replace speculation. When creators of real wealth, builders, thinkers, makers, understand how the system plays them against their own labor. Because the moment you see the illusion, it loses its power. So ask yourself, not what money is worth, but what your time is worth. If this message opened your eyes, share it, because awareness is the first step toward freedom. This was Digital 12 Era. Until next time, stay awake and stay curious.